Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6 a.m.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a historic launch from the Space Coast is set to lift off this afternoon. The astronauts will be joining some familiar faces when they reach the International Space Station. Plus, Helene tore through Florida and the Southeast Thursday night into Friday. Now people are figuring out how to recover from the damage after the devastating storm.
And Helene is now a post-tropical cyclone, still bringing some showers to parts of Kentucky, stretching into Ohio. Outer rain bands extend well from the center. We may see a few isolated showers, some downpours as we go through today. Rain chances not super high, but have that umbrella ready to go just in case.
All right, good morning, Central Florida. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. I'm Emily McLeod.
And thanks for waking up with us on this Saturday. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
Helene just really hanging around.
Yeah, she, I have no words for her anymore.
She's caused a lot of problems.
She has, Cat 4 storm devastated the Big Bend region. Heavy rain across portions of Georgia. Georgia
got hit really hard.
You have people that live in those areas too, and this is what we see. We see strong storms. They make landfall, and then we're looking at all that moisture just continuing to move across areas that's not used to that much rain, and it causes a lot of problems. Thankfully, though, we can breathe. Yeah. A sigh of relief. There are no tropical threats to Central Florida, but I do want to show you what's going on outside here. If you're heading out dark and early, what a gorgeous shot.
Beautiful this morning.
Of downtown Orlando. It's beautiful. We're dealing with mainly clear skies. No rain right now, again, but hit or miss showers and storms are certainly possible as we go through the morning, this afternoon, and tonight. So as you take a look at the radar here across the U.S., there's what's left of Helene there. If you're now tuning in, some light showers moving across Kentucky and parts of Ohio this morning. But look at this. You see these outer rain bands here, those feeder bands. Again, this system not fairly organized, but you can see showers and storms continuing to move from the northwest. We'll see hit or miss showers and storms as we go through today because of that setup. I am tracking a batch of showers moving across Polk County, staying south of Kissimmee. And look at this. We're looking at some showers and storms over our western zones. It may clip parts of Marion County and also Sumter County later on this morning. And then we'll continue to see hit or miss showers and storms through the rest of today. Still gusty, looking at those wind gusts between 10 to even 14, 15 miles per hour, especially along our coast, resulting in a high rip current risk. It's going to be hot and humid. We'll talk about those daytime highs and what to expect for the rest of the week coming up in a bit.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, it's a huge day on the Space Coast as NASA and SpaceX prepare to send another mission to the International Space Station. But this mission will include some familiar faces. SpaceX and NASA plan to launch the Crew 9 mission from Cape Canaveral just after 1:15 this afternoon. It will be the first SpaceX launch with astronauts from Space Launch Complex 40, but there have been some changes. Only 2 astronauts are headed up instead of the initially planned 4 because they'll be bringing back Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, who are waiting to come home after the Boeing Starliner capsule had to come back to Earth without them. Now, Williams and Wilmore launched back in July aboard the Boeing Starliner capsule. Their goal was to only be there for 8 days, and now they aren't planning to come back until February. Today's mission will see them join SpaceX and NASA's Crew 9 astronauts to work aboard the space station for the next 6 months. But space fans here in Central Florida are excited to see another crewed launch from Cape Canaveral.
So you guys coming out for the launch?
Yes, sir, and I'm so excited. I've lived here for only a couple months, and just seeing the rocket launch from my house and now coming down here, I'm so excited to see it. So excited.
Yeah, I lived here all my life, so she's my friend, so I'm bringing her down here to watch the launch tomorrow.
Once Crew 9 is set to return, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams will head back to Earth for the first time in nearly 8 months if the launch happens. We'll have it here live on News 6, clickorlando.com, and the News 6 app for your smart TV. Now, the weather seems to be okay for launch today, but earlier this week, it was a totally different story. Hurricane Helene made landfall in the Big Bend region. We had a reporter on the ground in Perry, Florida, bringing us all the updates. News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval rode out the storm and showed us the damage after Helene was gone. That was Eric Sandoval reporting, and we appreciate your coverage over the last several days up there in Perry, so thank you, Eric. Now, Helene was such a big storm, even though it made landfall in the Big Bend region, we had impacts here In Central Florida, too, locally families are recovering from the wind and rain that came along with the hurricane. News 6's Treasure Roberts was with one Apopka family who was surprised to see how much the storm damaged their home. We hate to see our families here in Central Florida having a hard time recovering after these storms. And over in Seminole County, another family is dealing with damages from Helene. One family recovering after the storm, they say it tore through their duplex. Absolutely unbelievable to see the damage that Helene caused here in Central Florida. Landfall was at the Big Bend, and we had damage like that here in Central Florida. Just goes to show how big and powerful this storm was. Time now is 6:10. Let's go ahead and check back in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She's in our Pinpoint Weather Center with a quick check of today's forecast, and it looks like you're going to give us an update on the tropics.
Yeah, I do want to let you all know what's going on in the tropics right now. I am tracking two named storms. We have Hurricane Isaac, which is a Category 2 storm, going to continue to pull to the north there and then dissipate eventually through the week. We have Tropical Storm Joyce. You can see there that burst of convection over the central Atlantic basin. It will be a fish storm. And now watching a wave slowly moving off the coast of Africa. National Hurricane Center has highlighted this area here for tropical development in the next 2 to 7 days. We're looking at a medium chance as we go through that time frame. But this area we're going to have to watch it very closely. Once again, the Western Caribbean and parts of the Gulf of Mexico is highlighted under a medium chance for tropical development in the next 7 days. It's not going to do much in the next 2 days because there's nothing there. So atmospheric conditions will be conducive for tropical development as we go through the week in that zone there. And we could potentially see a tropical depression later on this week. Of course, we'll watch that very closely. There are no threats to the area as of right now. So here's Isaac. There's the track continuing to move to the north there. Going to continue to dissipate. And again, there is Joyce, really not bothering anybody. So a real quick recap of the season so far. We are up to the name Joyce, 10 named storms. If those two areas gets a name, we're looking at Kirk and Leslie. So we'll have more on this coming up in my full forecast. And also it'll be a hot and humid day with showers and storms around. Of course, I'll time it out coming up in a bit.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, we're right in the midst of Hispanic Heritage Month, and coming up after the break, News 6's Ezzy Castro gives us a look into how one woman's culture has fueled her career. You're watching News 6 Mornings. We're getting results for our friends in Castleberry, Maitland, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
You picked the wrong neighborhood!
Universal Halloween Horror Nights, featuring Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and more.
Become a News 6 Insider and enter for a chance to win 2 tickets to Universal Orlando Halloween Horror Nights.
I know how crucial it is to be ready for any type of weather. So whether the sun's shining or the storms are rolling in, I've got your back, pinpointing the weather down to the minute. I'm meteorologist Candace Campos. Let's tackle the day together, weekday mornings on News 6.
We have been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month here at News 6. We're highlighting local businesses and leaders making a difference across Central Florida. News 6's Ezzy Castro is sharing the story of an artist using her Cuban and Colombian heritage to showcase her culture through her artwork. I mean, how many people a day you think look at that mural when they go to Disney Springs?
Oh my goodness,
Thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of people. You know, it's a very busy area. And I just want to say, what gorgeous work.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful. The colors, everything.
are so gorgeous.
They're just so inviting. So great work there. And I love that Ezzy highlighted her work. So that's really cool.
So what's it going to look like today if people are heading out to Disney Springs?
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a nice day today. I would have the umbrella just in case. Some hit or miss showers and thunderstorms are possible. Really not due to our, the sea breeze conditions that we usually get. This is still because of Helene, which is now a post-tropical cyclone way to our north, bringing some showers to parts of Kentucky and Ohio this morning. But we're still looking at a few bands moving across the area, looking at some isolated showers, some downpours over our western zones here. May clip parts of western Marion County this morning, but looking at a batch of showers here moving over Polk County, really staying south of Haines City, and it'll stay south of Kissimmee. But again, you may see a stray shower if you live again in those areas as we go through today. Now temperatures, it is warm, it is humid. We're looking at Orlando at 75, as well as New Smyrna Beach and Daytona Beach. We're looking at 74 in the Villages. At Wildwood, good morning at 73. And then as we head out to Brevard County, Melbourne, good morning at 78, as well as Cocoa Beach coming in at 78 degrees. So as we take a look at your hour by hour forecast, we'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds clouds, breezy, temperatures in the middle to upper 80s by 11. A 40% chance for showers and storms as we go through the entire day. We'll see a daytime high of 92. Keep in mind, it's still very humid out there, and because of that setup, it's going to feel like 102 to 103 degrees. So forecast highs, lower 90s along our coast, 92 in Orlando, 91 in DeLand, the Villages, Wildwood, Claremont, Leesburg at 90, and Ocala seeing a daytime high of 88 degrees. If you are planning a beach day, we are still looking at some rough surf. Again, we're looking at between 3 to 4 feet, winds out of the south between 10 to 15, and that is going to create a rip current risk that will be rather high. Make sure you're swimming near a lifeguard if you're planning on doing that. So to take a look at your clouds and rain forecast, again, hit or miss showers, some downpours associated with them as we go through the morning. Heading into the afternoon hours, notice our winds staying out of the south. That's going to continue to increase the humidity through today. Closer to lunch, we'll continue to see showers and storms popping up across the area. Some storms will have the potential of producing heavy rain at times. Look at this at 3. We could see some downpours near Brevard County as well as Sumter County. And then through the rest of today, we'll continue to see hit or miss showers as we head into the evening hours, lasting into tonight. Could get a good downpour later on tonight across the metro area. So keep in mind, make sure you have that umbrella ready to go. Tropics real quick, looking at 2 named storms. We have Tropical Storm Joyce, there it is over the central Atlantic, and then Hurricane Isaac, which is a Cat 2 storm. That'll continue to pull to the north as we go through the rest of the week. New area here highlighted by the National Hurricane Center has a medium chance for tropical development as we go through the next 7 days. See that development area there, but this area, once again, we're going to have to watch closely. National Hurricane Center has highlighted the Western Caribbean Sea and parts of the Gulf of Mexico for potential tropical development in the next 7 days. A 40% chance for that as we go through that time frame. And real quick, that's how many storms we've had so far, 10 named storms. And the next named on the list is Kirk and also Leslie. There's a look at your 7-day, 92 today, 40% chance for rain and storms, 92 tomorrow, a 50%. And rain chance is lower as we head into midweek.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Every week, News 6's Eric Von Anken has a new project for you to tackle. After the break, he'll help you fix a common issue you might face after a storm. But first, get those tickets out. Here's a look at the winning numbers from last night's Florida Lottery drawings. Good luck.
Watch meteorologist Michelle Morgan for your weekend forecast. Weekend mornings on News 6.
Coming up on News 6 Mornings, an exciting day on the Space Coast as SpaceX prepares to send 2 crew members to the International Space Station who will join some familiar faces on their mission. And Michelle, rocket watchers, not rocket launchers.
Or rocket weather?
Or rocket forecast.
Rocket forecast.
We're going to get there.
Yeah, looking pretty good. It's just going to be breezy, so we'll have to watch that forecast very closely. Hot, humid. Look at our heat index values. Getting into the triple digits, not really feeling like fall. We're looking at some random showers through today. Of course, I'll break it all down and talk about what's going on in the tropics coming up in a bit.
Plus, storm damage across Central Florida after Hurricane Helene ripped through the southeast, what families are dealing with as they begin to recover. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
As a state trooper patrolling these roads, I know why traffic is bad, and I know how to make your commute smoother. Let me get you through traffic on News 6 Mornings.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a new crew headed to the International Space Station. Space fans across Central Florida are preparing for liftoff. Plus, Hurricane Helene wreaked havoc across Florida Thursday night and Friday. Now, families across the state are trying to figure out how to deal with the damage it caused. Welcome back to the morning news. Time now is 6:30 on your Saturday. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. I'm Emily McLeod. Before we update you on our top stories, meteorologist Michelle Morgan has a quick check of the forecast. Michelle, what can we expect on our Saturday?
Well, it's going to be hot and humid, Emily. We're still dealing with some tropical moisture in the atmosphere. I am also tracking a few showers moving across a few areas across Central Florida. Look at this, Polk County, looking at some showers moving into Osceola County, and a batch of showers staying north and west of us, barely clipping western Marion County this morning. So this is going to be pretty much the setup as we go through today. Hit or miss rain, getting heavy in a few locations, but many of us seeing plenty of sunshine sunshine with clouds mixed in. Zooming things in here, looking at a stray shower staying south of Kissimmee and continuing to move towards the turnpike there. Now, as you take a look at your current temperatures, Orlando, Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach, good morning. You're starting off at 75, 73 in Wildwood, good morning, 74 in Ocala, and then warmer across across coastal Brevard County, 78 in Cocoa Beach, as well as Melbourne, 77 in Cape Canaveral. So here's your forecast for today. 40% chance for scattered rain and a few embedded thunderstorms through the entire day, lasting again through the morning, afternoon, and even tonight, seeing a daytime high of 92 degrees. Real quick, what's going on in the tropics here? I am tracking two named storms. We have Hurricane Isaac, which is a Cat 2. There it is. And then we have Tropical Storm Joyce meandering over the central Atlantic. There it is right there. Not going to be an issue for us, but looking at this area, highlighted by the National Hurricane Center, that has a medium chance for tropical development in this zone. But once again, we'll have to watch the Western Caribbean and parts of the Gulf of Mexico for tropical development as we go through the next 7 days. National Hurricane Center has placed a 40% for tropical development, and we could see a tropical depression later on this week in that zone. Of course, we'll be watching that very closely, but as of right now, there are no tropical threats. We'll talk more about the tropics coming up in a bit. Emily?
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, it's set to be a historic day on the Space Coast as SpaceX plans to launch its Crew 9 mission to the International Space Station. It will be the first mission from Launch Complex 40 with astronauts for SpaceX. But they've had to make some adjustments for the mission, going from 4 crew members to 2. The crew will be joining Boeing Starliner astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams. They launched earlier this year to the ISS before their capsule had to return to Earth without them due to issues on the flight up. They'll be joining the Crew 9 and returning with them in February. As News 6's Troy Campbell shows us, people are excited to see that Crew 9 launch finally get off the ground. Now, the weather looks like it's going to hold up for the launch, but just a couple of days ago, it was a completely different story. Hurricane Helene ripped through Florida's Big Bend this week, but the storm was so big, impacts could be felt across central Florida and really the entire southeast. Some families in the area are now dealing with homes destroyed by the storm. Rain and hurricane-force winds caused major flooding and damage along the Gulf Coast as it ripped through. People are recovering there, trying to figure out the next steps after the storm. But back here in central Florida, not everybody was spared. News 6 reporter Treasure Roberts spoke with one family who says they had some scary moments during the storm. They say it tore a hole in their roof, and they're now trying everything they can to fix the damage.
It's leaking in the 2 bedrooms. It's leaking in both bathrooms. It's leaking in the kitchen. It's leaking in where I had a fireplace. I got a hole up there, and there where that was, because the chimney's gone.
And it's not just here in central Florida where the effects of Helene are being felt. After making its way through the Big Bend, Helene continued to slam into the southeast. Now, this is video of damage in North Carolina. Someone got this video on their phone of a roof as it floated by what is normally a neighborhood street in Asheville, North Carolina. And we've been finding video of dramatic rescues from the storm at this hospital in Tennessee. Nearly 60 people had to be pulled by a helicopter to safety. The hospital was urged to evacuate, but it flooded so quickly, ambulances weren't able to get in. Let's go ahead and check back in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She is in our Pinpoint Weather Center. Michelle, that's got to be one of the scariest things about these storms when they come in, whether you're dealing with storm surge or that flash flooding.
It's the water.
It's the water. And people, I feel like they always say it comes in so quickly.
Yeah, and that's what we always say, don't underestimate a storm. This storm rapidly intensified right before landfall, pushing up all that water along the Big Bend region. Tampa, I have friends out in Tampa, and they were sharing their videos. Houses completely flooded out. So again, you got to make sure you're paying attention to the forecast, and of course, making sure that you're prepared. But I do want to show you what's going on with Helene right now. It is a post-tropical cyclone. We still have that spin, that counterclockwise spin. There's the center, or what's left of the center. But look at all of this dry air that it's pulling in. Seeing some dry air also on the backside of this system. So you see this little funnel here. We'll see a few showers and thunderstorms as we go through today. Rain chances not high. I'm calling for a 40%, but have that umbrella ready just just in case if you get a random downpour. So as we take a look at the radar, looking at a few showers out to our north and west here, barely clipping western Marion County, looking at a few isolated downpours moving across Polk County, heading into Osceola County, staying south of Kissimmee, and that is it. You are starting off your day nice and dry, and we'll see abundant sunshine as we go through today. Now, temperature-wise, we're starting off at 75 in Orlando, New Smyrna Beach, Daytona Beach, good morning, Wildwood, 73, Claremont at 78, and Cape Canaveral at 77 degrees. So here's your planner, looking at a 30% chance for showers through the 7 o'clock hour, and then 40% through the morning, afternoon, and lasting into tonight. It'll stay humid, so with temperatures in the lower 90s, it is going to feel like the triple digits. So make sure you're drinking water, taking it easy while you're out and about. Now, coming up in a bit, we'll take a look at the timing of the showers and storms and also what's going on in the tropics. Emily.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Unemployment benefits are meant to provide some relief if you find yourself in between jobs, but if those payments are delayed, that can end up causing more stress. Coming up, we take a look at a couple of cases where people say they weren't getting their benefits on time. You're watching News 6, getting results for all of Central Florida on air and on the News 6 mobile app. We'll be right back.
Watch meteorologist Michelle Morgan for your weekend forecast. Weekend mornings on News 6.
All right, a man contacted News 6 after he waited 6 months to receive his unemployment benefits, and he's finally getting results. But after his story aired, more people reached out to us with the same issue, benefits being on hold. News 6 producer Robert Brewer gives us a look at two of these situations as he looks for answers. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now. Michelle, we're starting to recover after Hurricane Helene came through. I think that was something that, I don't know, I mean, Central Florida still felt the impacts.
Because it was a large system.
It was huge.
It was huge. I think it was 420 miles wide.
That's massive.
That's massive. So that's why we felt impacts. Thankfully, it was a wind event for us. We didn't have to really deal with flooding or anything like that. But it was still very impactful. Many homes, were.
Yeah, we saw the gentleman in Seminole County. The tree went through his roof.
Those trees, the trees were. Trees are always a problem.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Thankfully, we could breathe a sigh of relief. We're not dealing with any tropical impacts. Today, we're actually looking at a really nice weekend as we take a look at the water vapor imagery, pinpointing that dry air that's indicated by orange. You see that counterclockwise spin over parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, heading into parts of Ohio. That's what's left of Helene. It is a post-tropical cyclone, and it'll stay breezy as we go through today. You can see the tail end of this system. But look at all of that dry air. I'm sure it feels fantastic over Louisiana, stretching into parts of Georgia. But we are looking at a little bit of dry air trying to work itself into Central Florida. Rain chances not high. I am calling for 40%. A hit or miss rain. Some downpours are possible with a few stronger thunderstorms, and that's it. It is going to keep things windy. Look at our winds right now. They're out of the southwest. We are dealing with gusts of 14 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach, 13 miles per hour in Sanford, and 11 miles per hour in Orlando. The winds will remain gusty through today. Eventually, they'll switch out of the south. That's going to continue to increase the moisture. If you are planning a beach day, just be careful. We are dealing with a high rip current risk not only today, lasting through tomorrow. As we take a look at the radar scan here, tracking a few showers heading into Osceola County, a few showers here in Polk County, a batch of showers moving to our north and east, barely clipping western Marion County, and that's it. Many of us are beginning our Saturday morning dry. When the sun finally comes up, we'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds. So overall, we are looking at a decent day. Zooming things in here, most of the shower activity staying south of Kissimmee, heading towards the Turnpike and our coastal zones, nice and dry to kick off our morning. So temperatures, we're looking at the 70s, Orlando, Daytona Beach, good morning, you're at 75. Out in Leesburg and Claremont, you're at 78. And then Ocala in the Villages, 74. Cocoa Beach, 78. And Cape Canaveral at 77 degrees. So as you take a look at your forecast, a 40% chance all day. Really hit or miss. This is going to last as we head into tonight with a few lingering showers and storms. But we'll see a daytime high of 92, and of course with the high humidity, it's going to feel like 102 to 103. So just make sure you're drinking plenty of water and staying hydrated if you're planning on being outside. Beach forecast, 90 degrees, the water is 82, winds out of the south between 10 to 15. If you're tuning in, we're looking at a high rip current risk today and also a high UV index. Don't forget the sunscreen and swim near a lifeguard if you're planning on doing that. As we look at your highs, 91 in Sanford and DeLand, 90 in Wildwood, Claremont, Winter Haven, 90 in Titusville, and 92 degrees in Melbourne. So as we take a look at your clouds and rain forecast, a mix of sunshine and clouds, showers beginning to pop up across central Florida as we go through the morning hours, and then we'll continue to see that setup as we go through the rest of today. Now, switching gears, what's going on in the tropics, looking at two named storms. There's Tropical Storm Joyce, and Hurricane Isaac, which is a Cat 2. Looking at this zone here that has the chance, the potential for tropical development in the next 7 days. National Hurricane Center has placed a 50% chance for that. But this area, once again, we're going to have to watch the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico for tropical development. They have placed a 40% chance for that. We could potentially see a tropical depression in that zone as we head into midweek. Of course, we'll be watching it very closely. There's a look at your 7-day, 92 today, 40% chance for showers and storms. 92 tomorrow, 50%, 94 on Monday, not feeling like fall at all. And rain chances lower as we head into our Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
All right, Michelle, thank you. You're watching News 6, getting results for all of Central Florida on air and on the News 6 mobile app. We'll be right back.
News 6 Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos.
All right, here now are some live pics of the Falcon 9 carrying crew Falcon 9 carrying Crew 9 today. It's currently sitting on the launch pad at Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral. We will be bringing you that liftoff if it happens later this afternoon. Always fun to get a glimpse before the launch actually happens later today.
That's gorgeous. I've never seen a launch up close like that ever.
Really? We have talked about the fact that how little we have been to Brevard, and I think that needs to change sometime soon.
I'm honestly scared. I'm not gonna.
Really?
Yeah, to be that close.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm a little chicken.
You'll be fine.
Alrighty. Well, it's gonna be hot and humid today. Thanks, Mom.
You're
We got a
welcome.
40% chance for showers and storms. 50% tomorrow. 92, 94 on Monday. Rain chance is a little bit lower. Tuesday through Thursday, we're gonna have a little cold front move through Thursday, bringing down the temperatures a degree in the higher 80s.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you so much for joining us this morning on News 6. CBS Saturday Morning is next. Remember, we always break news on clickorlando.com. Have a great Saturday.